Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the four different levels of getting into ketosis and their benefits. So, as we know, we've been talking about being going from a sugar burner to a fat burner, and our body naturally needs glucose, but we also need to burn ketones. And ketones are burning fat for energy, the stored fat, and getting rid of the excess fat in our body. And it's a very clean burning fat, the ketones, and glucose is more like the ash you find in the fireplace after the wood has burned. It's dirtier, and so it's not as clean. So we want to make sure that we are moving in and out to be metabolically flexible between burning fat and burning sugar, glucose. So the main thing is that if we're constantly eating and we're not fasting, our body is constantly trying to digest the food that we've taken in, and it's always has glucose to burn. And if we have excess glucose from what we need, your body will store it in your organs and store it in your muscles, and then we'll end up building excess fat. And you're going to see it on your labs, and like triglycerides and fasting insulin resistance is going to start happening. So fasting is so important to get down that inflammation, get down that sugar, that glucose, that fasting insulin, and to really help with weight loss. So what are the four levels? And we want to make sure that we get all the benefits when we're fasting, and different types of fast are going to get us there. And this is why we want to, when we're fasting, especially the longer fast, we want to use the Keto-Mojo, the glucose monitor that also uses a different strip for measuring ketones, so we can see where our ketones are and where our blood sugar is at. It's really crucial to really monitor those, and I highly recommend using the Keto-Mojo. I do have a link for you to order it from if you want to use that. But I really think you should. You should be monitoring what you're doing when you're adding fasting into your lifestyle. And we want diet variation and fasting variation depending on why we're fasting. What is our goal? What are we looking to accomplish? Because each different level has a different benefit and a different result that we can get. Um, so the four levels, the first nutritional ketosis that we want to get into is we want to be burning ketones between 0.5 and 1. So 0.5 and 1. And that is really the starting point. It's light ketosis, light nutritional ketosis, and it's a great starting point. If you're between 0.5 and 1, you're burning ketones. That's awesome. Keep up the good work and keep fasting. And that is a kind of a nice little spot to keep going. Now, the sweet spot for optimal ketosis is between 1 and 3. And between 1 and 3, we call it the sweet spot because it's simple, it's easy. You usually can get into that anywhere from 18 hours to 36 hours, depending on how the toxic load is on your body. But that sweet spot with optimal ketosis helps us with mental clarity, cleaning up brain fog, improving our energy, and weight loss is going to start happening. And that's why when people are looking to lose a lot of weight or at least really get their weight loss going, we say that 36 to 48 hour fast is a great place to start working towards. And you should be monitoring your glucose and your ketones during this time so you can see where your ketones are at, because there's a danger spot, and I'll get to that in a minute here. But optimal ketosis is 1.0 to 3.0. The benefits are mental clarity, energy, weight loss, and it's a sweet spot is what we call it. Now, on longer fasts, we're going to start accelerating healing. So if your reasoning for wanting to fast is because you're trying to really clean up a metabolic diagnosis, tumors, cancers, accelerate healing, we want to be in the therapeutic um, area. And the therapeutic ketosis is 3.0 to 5.0. You'll get that on longer fasts. That helps heal a condition. That helps accelerate the healing state. Now, we all need to do that every so often. So a lot of people want to get into therapeutic ketosis between 3 and 5 so they can work on prevention. If you're working on a healing state, then you'll be doing these fasts a little bit more often. If you're working on prevention, we can do these longer fasts a little less often. Okay, so 3.0 to 5.0 is really to help heal a diagnosis, heal a condition, and get to a better healing body, a body that's functioning at optimal levels. Now, the fourth state, this is a fasting ketosis. This is usually achieved when we're doing 3+ days of fasting, 3+ days of water fasting and using your minerals. Always use your minerals on longer days. We need to have your electrolytes there. And this is for prevention, intense healing, and we want our ketos between 5.0 and 7. Now, there are some people that say 8 is okay for ketones, but I always say 7 just to be on the safer side, because once you get above 8, you can get into ketoacidosis, which is dangerous, and you don't want to be doing that. So we do not ever want to go over 8, but if you can keep it between 5 and 7, and if you get over 7, especially if you get over 8, you stop that fast. Get your electrolytes in and start sipping on bone broth and adding some fermented foods. And we talk about that in another video about how to break your fast. So 4 stages. We want to make sure that we're really calculating our blood sugars and our ketones. And the best way to do it is on that Keto-Mojo. So understanding we don't always want to be burning sugar, and we don't always want to be burning ketones. We want to be able to metabolically switch back and forth. And the best way to do that is to keep flexing that fasting muscle and monitoring your blood while you're doing it. Now, why do some people have difficulty getting into, like, let's say, optimal ketosis, which is 1.0 to 3.0? When I first started fasting about 8 years ago, I had a really hard time getting into 1.0 to 3.0. I had to do like a 36-hour fast, 42-hour fast to get into it. Now, why was that? Well, I am someone who tests very high for lead for a long time. And lead, who knows where I got it from? They typically say it's either from tap water or lead paint, or you got it in utero. And at my age, I probably had lead paint and got it from my mother. And so I nearly needed to work on detoxing heavy metals. And so if you have heavy metals, if you have chemicals, if you have a bad pathogens like parasites or viruses, toxicity basically is what I'm talking about. It's going to be much harder to get into optimal ketosis between 1 and 3 or above, because that state is really high. Now, even high glucose, if you're eating a diet that's really high in refined carbs and chemicals and your blood sugar is high, or you have a lot of stress will raise your blood sugar, then it's going to be harder for you to get into optimal ketosis of 1.0 to 3.0. So I just say, keep working at it, keep flexing that fasting muscle, keep moving your body so you can burn excess glucose. Keep looking at your diet and cleaning up your diet. Get rid of those refined sugars, those seed oils, the chemicals, the high carbs, and keep working on it. And you might want to use some binders. You might want to do some saunas, rebounding, getting your minerals up, all of these things that can help. And if you need help in this area, please contact me. I'd be happy to walk you through it and get you to a better place. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully this is a place of better understanding for you and encouragement, because some people get discouraged if they can't get their ketones to get to a higher level. But I'm just telling you, there's a rhyme or a reason when it doesn't happen. So keep working on it. Tell me how you're doing. I'd love to hear feedback. And here's to your health. Have a great day.